10 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban.
All right, so second draft is underway. This time it will be Rutgers banning out first phase Luna. They do. It was RIT that had Luna last time, yeah, so they do not want to go against Luna once again. It is a classic hero. Even with the Shadow Demon banned out, the hero itself is a menace.
Yeah, and especially if you do get yourself into a couple of unnecessary extensions.
And Underlord once again banned out. That hero is, I don't know, public enemy #1 it seems, even though it hasn't seen any play in this season or in, last season either, because it wasn't in Captain's Draft.
Yeah, RIT probably just isn't prepared to play against it, and maybe thinks Rutgers has been planning a pocket strat around it. They were the ones to ban it last time as well.
Or they just, they fear the hero. They know it's strong. Even if they know, how it works, they're afraid. Just like Rutgers is afraid of their Luna play clearly after that last game.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to not understand a hero to not want to play against him. But just everybody, back. We're talking about game 2 here between Rutgers and RIT. RIT taking game 1 in a very close series that ends up handily going to them because of what we've deemed a couple of overextensions. Star League Classic overextensions. And of course, this is the Spring Semester Collegiate Star League. My name is Gorgon the Wonder Cow. I'm here with Zingle Zingli, the former second place master.
Just rub it in more.
From the University of Michigan last year. And we are here thanks to our sponsors, Band Gaming, the social app of the CSL. You guys can go ahead and take a look at that and all of its many features, including groups, boards, calendar functions, polls, chat, and everything else in the Swiss Army knife. Twitch, the largest streaming platform for gamers in the world, and ASUS, who have been welcomed into the CSL family for the 2016-2017 season. We're very happy to have them here to provide, basically everything you need, right? Like laptops and monitors and routers and graphics cards and motherboards. Pretty much if it's hardware that you need, ASUS has it. So check them out if you are thinking about upgrading anything in your system to play at your best. Speaking of playing at your best, let's talk about these teams and what we're looking forward to. Do you think we're going to see a lot more of this push style from both teams? Both teams seem to prefer it for last game.
I think just the entire meta seems to be around this whole idea of early game grouping up, pushing towers, getting objectives. And, that's really going to shape out to be an interesting season, or series and season as a whole, if this meta, doesn't shift too much. Like this first game, if that's how most of the games are going to go, it's going to be entertaining regardless of who wins.
Yeah. The push metas, as long as teams are not getting steamrolled because they're just out of their element or being outskilled completely,
right.
The push metas do have a tendency to be very action-packed. You get a lot of these fights, especially in CSL, where teams are not quite as disciplined as they are in maybe professional leagues. Right? You get a lot of these fights that end up straggling out very far, 4 or 5 minute long, just bloodbaths, and they're fun.
Mm-hmm.
Shadow Demon pick up. That implies the push, to me at least.
I don't know what it implies anymore, because Luna's already banned. They're the team that actually banned Luna. And the common, push heroes that have illusions, at least, that help push, are Luna, and, I don't know, maybe Dragon Knight, but most other illusions don't push towers that well.
Right, Alchemist with Radiance, you can use the Radiance solutions to kind of push out when he TPs away. So we could, what I would really love to see here, I'm not thinking it's super likely, but I would really love to see a return of the classic Shadow Demon Mirana combo.
I think that's actually likely enough.
I think we could see it, but I wouldn't put it I wouldn't expect a lot of teams to run that, just because that means that the Shadow Demon needs to do a lot of rotating to either your mid or maybe your off lane.
Right. But I don't know about that Alchemist anymore. It seems like with the more bounty runes, it would be a more meta pick, but I've actually not seen it much at all, and even when I have, it doesn't seem that effective because the bounty runes only give him 2x now, instead of up to 6x later on into the game.
Yeah, I'm going to give you Alchemist has never been that effective if you look at stats about Alchemist. Like, he is a niche pick. He can be extremely strong. He's very difficult to play in CSL, unless you're wildly outperforming your opponents in terms of coordination and timing windows, he's usually a bigger liability for teams than he is an asset. Not saying that the hero
10
doesn't have a
seconds
place,
remaining.
but it's like a Broodmother, right? There are very few times in Dota history where Broodmother have
5
been
seconds remaining.
just a outstanding pick. Usually it's been a niche pick with a lot of potential in certain
Reserve
situations.
time.
Right. This Legion Commander, do you think it'll be a safe lane or an off lane? Or mid even, but I think that's less likely.
I think it's up in the air right now, but I would expect it to go offlane.
Right.
Just everything equal. Honestly, in CSL, you never know. Maybe they decide to run a jungle.
And speaking of that,
certainly.
that's why I like this as an opening 1-2 pick for RIT, is that you can't really predict what they want to do with this. A Rubik Legion, there's versatility in those picks.
Yeah, and so the
Radiant
Nyx
team
Assassin
ban.
is another hero I almost mentioned because the Impale setup with
Mhm.
Disruption is quite nice. And also the early game combo of the Soul Catcher onto a level 1 Vendetta gets you a lot more distance out of that Vendetta pick, right? 550 damage from a
10
Vendetta hit.
seconds remaining.
But if you have a 40% or 50% bonus damage that's pure,
5 seconds
you're making that
remaining.
Nyx Assassin. Suddenly it's like he has a Dagon and he doesn't need him.
Oh yeah, that's a good combo. Nobody really thinks of it though when they see that, but that's a
Dire
solid
team's
1-2
turned to
punch.
ban.
Yeah, it is. I really hope that if that is the sort of mode that we're looking at for this team, a very gank and push style run from Rutgers, I'm hoping that we don't see Shadow Poison max build because I often see
seconds
players,
remaining.
even in the CSL, even at like high levels of skill,
5
go for
seconds
the Shadow
remaining.
Poison because it's a visible damage rather than relying on their team to provide the damage where the Soul
Reserve
Catcher.
time.
And I like I was saying with
Radiant
RIT where you
team's
don't really
turned
know
to
where
ban.
they're going. With Nyx Assassin, because you have the setup from Shadow Demon, it could be played as a 4-position support rather than a typical offlaner. You have
I
seen
kind
that
of expect
recently.
it to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of expect the Nyx Assassin to be a support, which is one of the reasons why this combo is so nice,
seconds
because you
remaining.
don't need to get damage up with the Vendetta in order to really utilize it if you have Soul Catcher. to
5
make up the
seconds
difference.
remaining.
Exactly.
So, yeah. A Nyx Assassin, also as a core here, there isn't a
Dire
lot.
team
Like,
ban.
Rubik's is an okay pick. You're probably not going to be able to blow up the Legion Commander at most stages of the game. And there isn't any hero out so far that is a high priority pick that also is really susceptible to mana
Radiant
burn.
team's
So
turn to
a core
pick.
Nyx Assassin decision right now would seem weird.
Another respect ban coming out of Rutgers. They don't want to face against the Ember or the Luna this game. Both of them caused them trouble last game, so it's understandable.
I would ban the
10
Ember for
seconds
sure.
remaining.
They
Oh, yeah.
had no answer to it. The Luna, I think, did more in
5
terms of a
seconds
hero, but I think
remaining.
the Ember, in terms of a player, made a lot of the decisions that swung the game
I'd have to agree.
out of
Reserve
Rutgers'
time.
favor. So, it's one of those things where it's really difficult to give out an MVP because the sports did a lot. The Ember's decision making was great. The Luna, just the fact that the hero exists and wasn't completely misplayed, gave them the damage potential that they needed. The whole team really synergized really well, and hopefully Rutgers bring a similar level of synergy here in this game.
Definitely. What do you think they banned Nakes, or Life Stealer as he's called
They
now.
did last game as well.
Yeah, and they banned Storm Spirit. So the Storm Spirit is kind of I don't know, what do those bans tell you? Because I think Life Stealer just banned so he doesn't synchronize with Nyx Assassin for those
Right,
ganks,
makes
but
sense.
I don't think that really
And-
tells you much about what they want as their core, does it?
No, it may mean that they are talking about, once again, that could be a sign that they're thinking about jungling Legion, because those are both heroes that you kind of need to rotate very heavily onto in order to shut down. And if you do end up
Dire team's
jungling the
turn to
Legion,
pick.
she's very susceptible to being ganked, but
Mhm.
she's also makes your entire team susceptible to losing lanes. Anytime you have a jungler, you tend to lose lanes a little harder.
With the
The
Weaver picked up
Weaver-
here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna be bold and just say that's a safe lane Weaver,
10 seconds
off lane
remaining.
Legion. I guess that's not really that bold because that's kind of, what
Five
the
You think
role
it's
is
an
in
off
shifting
lane
to.
Legion
I think
with
it's
the
I think
Rubik?
it's gonna be an off lane Legion. Rubik will either be in the safe lane or off lane. I don't know quite yet.
10
Depends on the other
seconds remaining.
support. But if they get another good aggressive support, I wouldn't be surprised to see an aggressive
5
tri lane
seconds
with Weaver
remaining.
solo safe.
Admiral Kunkka.
Oh, and there's the setup. There's the
Radiant
1-2
team's
punch
turn.
with Shadow Demon and Kunkka Torrent, with
One,
Nyx
two,
being an
three,
off
four.
lane now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 punch. If you include the boat and the axe.
Oh yeah.
Dire
Um,
team's turn to pick.
But the Pudge is a really weird pick here.
Yeah.
because you don't have a lot of map control so far. Your opponents have a lot of gank potential, and the Shadow Demon makes it really difficult for Punch to land hooks during fights, right? Because the disruption throws out illusions that can be hooked. Not only that, but you might accidentally hook an invisible Nyx or an invisible Slark that gets in the way of what you're trying to hit, or be scouted by it.
Yeah, it's
10 seconds remaining.
It's an interesting pickup. I'm not going to flame it quite yet because maybe they have a plan for it. But like, just if you look at the targets that he hooks, like you were saying, the 2 invis targets, the disrupted targets, so there are going to be illusions. There's the fact that there might be an X mark on his target that's whatever, and then even if he does get a hook, what's the ultimate called? Dismember combo, they're just a torrent to follow it up, or Nyx Assassin with Carapace to follow it up. That'll just
everybody has
combo.
a way to cancel the combo. Yeah,
so
every single one of these heroes except Slark, and Slark will eventually get a bash.
Maybe they just have a super confident Pudge player though. Can't count that out.
Jenkins is under a synonym or a pseudonym, excuse me. Yeah, so the Pudge seems weird. I'm going to make a bold call. I'm much bolder than you. I'm going to say Pudge is off lane. I'm going to say maybe Legion mid and Weaver safe lane, or Legion jungle and a mid yet to come.
I hope it's not a Legion jungle, because then it's just going to encourage Legion junglers.
Legion jungle ruins every pub game I've ever played.
All right.
I'm just going to throw that out there.
I'm going to double down. I'm going to double down. Say it's... Did they play... Did RIT play Weaver last game, or was that the Rutgers?
I think
that was the
Rutgers.
losing team, so it was Rutgers.
Rutgers.
I'm going to say it's a Weaver carry, an offlane Legion, and a support.
What the hell?
I like it. Let's get a show.
So it is a mid Meepo, a farming Slark, and offlane Nyx.
Correct.
And then a support Kunkka with the Shadow Demon for roaming. Okay.
Correct. And then
let's go straight cheese all the way through. I want the
like
string. I'm going to get some cheese from my fridge right now. I'm going to eat cheese while watching cheese.
If I had cheese, I would do the same.
I'll send you some. You're not too far away.
Perfect.
I
like it. I like the Meepo pick. It throws them for a loop. Almost nobody is used to playing against a Meepo, so even if they know the typical and the good counters to it, they might not be used to playing it. And oh boy, that's a mid Sand King.
That's okay. So a mid Sand King,
or attempted counter, I should say. Safe lane solo. No, safe lane solo. Safe lane Weaver plus Rubik. Off lane Legion.
You think so?
I'm saying
into a Slark though.
Yeah, because I mean Weaver, if you get pounced, it's not like your Shikuchi can get out of that if they have any protection.
True. And X marks the spot is going to be there.
So I think it'll be.
Yeah, no, you're right. Legion has to be off.
And then Legion will probably just jungle a bit, because did they do that last game? They did do that last game with the Axe, where he just abandoned lane and did not go. So I think that's going to be the case. Let's find out. You want to do the intros?
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, so as we're moving through into the game line, we go ahead and introduce some of these players playing here in CSL for RIT. On the Radiant side, we got some characters that I don't know. For Rubik, we've got Face Man on the Weaver. Ritz is big and fat on the Pudge. Eradicate is stomping about on the Legion Commander. And Eviden is evidently on the Sand King. And for Rutgers University here on the Dire side, Jason Pan is bugging out on our Nyx Assassin Storm, so that will be reprising his support role on the Shadow Demon this time. D&E is calling in the tides on the Kunkka, and Thwomp is sliding about on the Slark, already into play. WW 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Let's pause.
4, 3 is going to playing with a little help from his friends on the Meepo, and we do have that disconnect, as you mentioned.
I was going to wonder why Slark is just kind of AFK in base, not buying anything, but this explains a lot. It really does, you know.
You don't really need items when you're Slark.
So
let's do a little story time. When I don't know how long you've been playing Dota, Zingle. I feel like you've told me before. I don't remember, but I was playing Dota back when Slark was introduced in the original Warcraft 3 client. And he was so broken when he was introduced, I quit for like 6 months, straight up. Almost quit Dota forever. Slark was so broken when he was introduced. It's like, oh, let's have a hero who's invisible but can attack an invisibility, can't be targeted, it gets a free heart always, has an ability to stop you from moving, and sucks your stats out and gives them to himself. Oh, and you can't stun him.
Seems about good. Seems fair.
Yeah, no, seems like a pretty good hero.
You know, it reminds me of this new hero that came out recently that seems really strong, but I'm sure it's not overpowered. His name is Monkey something. I don't know. That hero.
No, I heard of like a Son Wukong, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
No, he seems like
he kind of just hits you 4 times and then press Q and gets a rampage. It's bizarre stuff, but luckily he's not in.
My girlfriend knows one thing about Dota, and it's because I constantly have to yell, "Don't let the monkey hit you 4 times" in my pubs. It's the one thing my girlfriend knows about Dota. Okay, so let's talk about these teams a little bit because we have the reconnect. Looks like Legion is going to be off lane. We seem to have predicted the lanes pretty okay here. What are you looking for in terms of the way these lanes are breaking down?
I really like the Legion against Slark matchup. However, like in the laning phase, it's not as strong. But once you get your momentum, once you get multiple points in overwhelming odds, once you get your ultimate, you really do well against Slark. One big issue is every time he duels, if Storm Soldat on the Shadow Demon is in the right spot, he will just disrupt either one of the targets or, either the target or Legion, and there's just going to be no duel. It's going to be a huge hindrance to the team fight. And then they'll just, with the saves and with all this like gank and roam potential out of the Dire team, they are looking like they can probably run over this game if the lanes don't go and crumble down for them.
Yeah, so if Legion Commander isn't getting early duels as well, like if she doesn't manage to get that damage count up, really the only way that our Radiant side squad is going to be able to win this late is by split pushing, I fear. Like, the Meepo scale is way better than anything they have other than infinite scaling Legion Commander dual damage. Kunkka has a lot of split push farm, has a lot of counter push available through the late game. Slark is very difficult to get a hold of in the late game. The Nyx Assassin falls off a little bit, but for the most part, you're looking at an extremely strong late-game draft here coming out of your Dire side squad.
The ward here of Kunkka is going to be scouted out by the TP ward from Rubik, so they're going to ping that out and probably get that dewarded. But there's a smoke already up on this support combo. Oh, the overlay.
Fortunately, it was a pause the whole time, so it doesn't really matter. They can complain all they want. Nothing's happened.
That is perfect convenient, yeah. So this...
so welcome to CSL, Zingle. Welcome to your first major CSL mistake. I'm happy to be here to document this with you and move on through many future CSL mistakes.
Perfect. So
all right.
This support combo is looking for a kill top, but Legion's already just dodged this kill and he's right to the jungle. So they're probably
you
gonna
hit the
smoke
nail
up and go
on the
somewhere
head
else.
with that in the draft, man. The fact that is a combo that really wants to get kills, and especially wants to be able to get a kill on Weaver. And the fact that the Legion Commander is just going to abandon that lane early and go straight into the jungle with the Iron Talon kind of mitigates a lot of that damage or potential. Down bottom, this actually could be a kill here. The body blocks were there. Stun does go out, but it will be first blood. Going the way of Weaver, not what you want. Shadow Demon coming down, but he doesn't have any way to get the damage. I guess he'll just walk in and get it.
Yeah,
so
the
never mind
Flood
on that.
can steal like 20 damage or something per hit at this point, so it's not awful. It's enough to deal 50 damage, I'd say.
He had a little bit less health than I recalled him having when he went into the bubble.
So I think the matchup of interest this game is definitely going to come down to the mid lane. If Sand King manages to stomp Meepo hard enough, and Meepo just doesn't get that ideal, timing on his secondary Meepos and tertiary Meepos so they can farm away and, get big, that's going to be perfect for the Radiant squad to group up and just kind of run at them.
Yeah, I really want to make a Dota-themed frog rock band called Tertiary Meepos.
Oh, God. I
that
regret
sounds
saying it
pretty
already.
Alright, Storm Soldat is going to walk right into a pudge. Rubik's trying to catch up. The slow is there. Nice body blocks out of RIT. He did this earlier as well. It did end up costing him his life, but did give them the kill. Storm Soldat will probably be going down here. There's not a lot
A little bit too
that
deep.
he can do.
Right.
Yeah.
And even though he disrupted the pudge, he still gets rot slowed through the disruption, so he was stuck nowhere to run.
Yeah, exactly. And the Rubik came from the other side too, so the pincer move helped out a lot. And with those supports rotating, Eradicate has been able to come out here onto the top lane and grab some CS as well. The Slark well up on top of our last hits. The Meepo just behind him. But Legion Commander is catching up. Another fight coming down here. Again, the supports are just brawling. And the captain is going to charge uphill. The hook is there to save. And they are going to shrine.
They steal the shrine from the mid, but he seems to be at full health, full mana, and a full bottle, so he doesn't mind too much.
I mean, how much is the Sand King really going to use mana, right? He's got Caustic Finale, and that's what he's relying on. He has a bottle for his health, and Meepo's not a huge threat with the Burrow Strike available. So, honestly, Sand King's in a pretty favorable matchup here in terms of not dying.
Definitely. Definitely.
Dyer's middle tower is under attack.
I fixed the overlay. Oh.
There's a delay. It's a delay.
Yeah, that's
you can't let them get to you. They will continue to go.
They will consume
They're going to be talking about this in 5 minutes.
Right.
So,
I guess that's true.
boogada-boogada-boo, guys.
But yeah, with these
us know when we
supports
get here.
brawling as much as they are, really just relies on the cores now to win their 1v1 matchups.
Oh, that's a perfect timing for Storm Soldat to go in. They got the disrupt in. The Torrent is going to be there as well. Meepo's coming in with the net, and the Burst Strike was already used. That could not have been more perfect. The Meepo will be hooked out and take a little bit of damage. Actually, that's going to be enough to get the Sand King away. I guess it could be more perfect as the Meepo now is in trouble from the nice rotation from the Pudge. The Rot is there. RIT will be able to potentially deny himself if he gets in trouble. He's going to try to juke around and does manage to. Now the hook in for the Kunkka. That is a captain down to JV Jones Logger. And the Burrow Strike. What a turn!
I'm impressed by this Meepo and by this Pudge and by everybody there. The fact that Meepo died there is unfortunate, but he played that correctly. But Pudge hooking out one of the Meepos, it stops the poof damage. That's a double of 100. So that's 200 damage on that poof. That would definitely have been enough. That Pudge is playing out of his mind there with those hooks.
We're
Good for
starting
them.
to see why they picked him up.
Oh yeah, I guess they do have a specialist Pudge, if there's even such a thing as a specialist Pudge player.
We were getting a solo kill down bottom, and now we'll be able to get away from Storm Soldat. These combos not really working out here for Rutgers University, who are playing a game behind in a best of 3. They do need this win to bring this out. This is the first match that we are broadcasting of our semester of games, so these teams have had their play scores wiped, but one of them was 6-1, and one of them was 7-0 through the fall. So these are some of the best teams that the CSL has to offer. Another hook up top as Swamp is taking damage. He is going to go ahead and dark back himself, but will not be enough as another kill going away.
Pudge is just a killer. This is what, his 5th kill that he's participated in?
5th or
6th.
50th, I'm not
6th.
sure. It is insane.
So once he actually gets to the point where he's level 10 and gets Flesh Heap, he'll just have an extra like 20 strength on top of any other hero in the game. That's incredible.
Yeah, at this rate, he's going to be nary unkillable.
Oh yeah.
And Legion Commander managing to catch up quite nicely. Meepo, the only hero on the really for all of Dire that is caught up to any of the cores for the Radiant side.
Yeah, that's Meepo's specialty though. You poof out a wave, then you go and you instantly farm up the jungle. You should have like 100 CS by 10 minutes. And he might be on track to do that. Minus the death, he is farming extremely well.
And this is potentially going to be a Legion Commander death. They're certainly hoping for it, but now the TP's coming in as Pudge is walking up, as is Rubik, and this could be turned very, very quickly. The Rod is there. That will be enough with the telekinesis. A nice Kunkka save. But the hook will bring Kunkka back in, and he's going to sacrifice his life for the Shadow Demon, and it will be a duel.
Has there been a
really
missed
not
hook
what you
yet?
want to see.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think that hook was intended for the Shadow Demon.
It was
but
hoping for a Shadow Demon.
Yeah.
But,
it was a nice block by the Kunkka, but honestly, when you think about it, if the Kunkka had let it hit Shadow Demon would have been dead before he managed to get dueled.
Right.
Whereas the Kunkka had enough health that he lived long enough to get dueled as well, so that gained dual victory damage, already stacking up at 10 in the first 6 minutes.
Yeah, something else to note is this Meepo is going for the new build rather than what the old build was for Meepo, where you go just bulk stats and you right-click.
Yeah, this is... Meepo needs a little bit of time to get online, though. And the other thing with the Meepo is he soaks experience and gold from the map like nobody's business. He is just a black hole. So the entire team is going to have to play from behind. Maybe the Slark is going to be given some farm priority, but nobody else on the Dire side squad is going to have any catch-up potential whatsoever. So getting off to a really bad start with a Meepo on your team is absolutely devastating for your support.
Dire's middle tower.
Looks like a attempted gank out of the Radiant side on mid, but it will be pinged out. Will Pudge get another hook here? It is... Oh, he does!
You can't stop this man. The save is not really going to be enough there. It's just going to be a moment of extra breath as Sand King comes in as well, trying to finish it off. They're finally going to get it. And now the Meepo, they kind of baited him in. Will they be able to kill him, though? No, Sand King's going to potentially go down here. The Pudge is going to get away. A nice turn. Going the way of that Meepo. Ritz, the hooks aren't quite enough. to knock down that Meepo.
Yeah, despite getting the good hooks, you know, you don't have the damage output as Pudge at level 4.
Right.
You know, once you're level 7, you'll have the 360 pure damage, but until then, you really need to rely on your team. And everyone just kind of stopped hitting the Kunkka there who's stuck in the trees because they figured, yeah, he's not going anywhere. What's the rush?
Yeah, let's talk about this Pudge, because he is a roaming support, so he is really low level, like, overall, as opposed to what you would expect from, like, a semi-core Pudge. He is really playing as a support. He's helping his support buy items, he's doing a lot of the roaming. These kills are propping up his levels.
Right. Without these
entirely.
kills, he would be struggling real hard. But since he's been in, what, 8 kills now,
8 kills now, I think, yeah.
It's okay. You know, being a support level 5 at 8 minutes is not bad.
It's not
but
bad. No, it's
compared
pretty
to
good.
Core,
It's going to have another kill potentially here. Oh, okay.
blocks the leap.
Eradicate is thinking about dueling in the tower. He will. Pudge does have a hook, and that should be an easy duel. Wow.
Good 1-2 punch there to get a second duel off for Legion Commander. This Slark is now struggling compared to the Weaver, who has had
They're beating
virtual
on
free
Dire's
farm
top
bottom.
tower.
He is going to be harassed down here a little bit, but
You know that this game is in a bad position, because when I sort net worth, it looks like I have it sorted. Maybe I do have it sorted. Okay, yeah. No, Meepo's the only one up on top.
no, Weaver's
it's-
caught up right with him.
No, I mean for Dire. They have
Oh,
no
yeah.
cores caught up anywhere near the cores
That's
for
what you're
Radiant. That's what I meant
Yeah.
to say, yeah.
This game is almost entirely on the Meepo at this point. The Slark
Yeah,
is...
which is often the case when you draft a Meepo, right? You only draft a Meepo if you have a player that you can really rely on to play Meepo, and this guy's going to be put through the limit.
And look at this, he's just stacking agility. He wants to go no defensive items, no bulk items. He's just going pure right click. He's going 2 Wraith Bands, agility, power treads, and he's going right for the E-Blade. He's hoping
Yeah.
just to, by himself, kill everybody.
I think that he realizes this game is going way out of control, and he needs to get out ahead of the game here. He doesn't have enough time to do a traditional Meepo build, max out on stats, really get the right click in. He's just got to be out and ganking with his team right now to try and stop this bleeding.
Yeah. So a lane that we have kind of, you know, neglected is bottom, who's actually, they're going to set up for a kill with Nyx Assassin's ultimate Vendetta right under the Weaver, who is going for Lincoln Sphere, so he doesn't really have much health right now.
Oh, yeah. Down bottom, Weaver is just going to die.
I like Nyx Assassin. He stood there waiting for the spiked Carapace for Weaver to go Shikuchi, but or Weaver just fought back. So Nyx Assassin like, okay, if you're not going to Shikuchi, I'll just kill you. And it worked out nicely.
There weren't a lot of options for the Weaver, but at least if he gets Spike Carapace in the Shikuchi, he has a moment to try and juke a little bit. Just standing there and dying is maybe not the best strategy in the world. Up top.
Oh, missed those kills. My bad. 1 for 1.
Epicenter went off. It didn't land much. I guess the Slark moved in with the pounce, and that's all she wrote.
I was watching their other 3 heroes who are now rotating back to top because they were all smoked up hunting down the Meepo.
No
But
TP on the Kunkka. So
Kunkka's,
if he gets hit here, he's just dead.
good
Dismember
duel.
just long enough. Very, very good for the duel. Nyx is going to miss the stun, and
Teammate griefing the
that's a
punch.
mixed hook.
Do you want to call it that? Do you want to call it griefing? Do you want to call it just a miscommunication? I'll call it a miss.
I'm gonna call it a miss, but
Okay.
I'm gonna call it like a player for Legion Commander. She got in the way. I think that it was a good Pudge hook, but Legion didn't have the communication. And,
And
once again,
Stolen X.
Legion walking in front of the hook.
Stolen X
Little
onto
curious.
the Nyx though. And a sentry
was
ward.
really nice.
I like it.
Really nice play coming out of the Rubik.
So it's 13-5 now, and this is 5 kills for the team that really wants to be snowballing. But
And
Meepo-
immediate smoke up. Legion Commander is going to have the ult in 8 seconds, and they're looking to get him another duel. Jeez, at 30 already, only 12 minutes in, he's got 30 bonus damage. And here we go. Easy Storm Soldat, and that is... Oh no, the Torrent interrupts!
if you
A
hook
little
it, you don't
too
get the
early.
kill. Aw. I was gonna say if you hook it, you get the kill, but not the duel. So are they gonna do it? But a swing and a miss regardless.
Legion had to cast Prestige Attack before dueling. Just had to. Couldn't do it without. That seems like a Twitch moment. Oh, actually, I'll have to come back to this because in the mid, Sand King netted and dead.
He was a little bit
That is,
over-aggressive on the Slark and just got netted. Nothing you can
Yeah.
do about that. New net mechanic or new root mechanic is really strong.
Yeah, it is really, really good. I think a lot of players maybe aren't necessarily used to that from Meepo as well, because you don't often face up against a Meepo.
Ooh, Rubik managed to spell steal Demonic Purge. That's Shadow Demon's ultimate,
That's
and that's
so
a
good.
really good steal.
Yeah, it is
Radiant's
insane.
bottom
Not only
tower
is the damage really good, but just holding someone in place, easy punch hook, easy duel, right? You can catch somebody up for the telekinesis.
Oh, smoke incoming bottom. Their smokes will pop, and they will see the Pudge miss on the X mark. They will get a X mark. Oh, they don't want to use the ultimate or the setup.
Legion
But
has
this-
fallen behind the Slark in terms of net worth, and I thought this was done, but I guess
No.
it's not done.
Nope.
Storm Soldat will go down.
That's going to be a return kill thanks to the TP reaction of
Could
the
be-
Sand King. And a second
Oh,
kill,
wow.
too. They're
Yeah,
looking
this-
for a
this
third, but they're
Pudge-
not going to find him.
Structures are fortified.
Yeah.
And he's not even level 10 yet.
Radiant's
Meepo
middle
might
get
tower
mid-tower.
needs some help.
Nah.
No,
He's not
there's
committed.
no way. Even if he committed,
The
there, he
blink
wouldn't have
reveal.
done it, and then he would have
Top tower
died.
is under attack.
The
I think Sand King revealed Blink when he died.
bottom.
before it did.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is the Legion Commander is struggling a little bit to get the Blink up online. With the damage that she has, if she was able to get Blink up, sub 14 minutes, the game would pretty much be over.
Right.
But the fact that it's going to take her probably until about 16:30 to get that Blink, that buys this Meepo enough time to get online with the type of build that he's going for. Like, he'll have Ethereal Blade, or excuse me, he'll have his upgrade coming out here in just a minute. Yeah, it is Ethereal Blade. Man,
So
long
this,
day.
This Meepo is now, he's at the point where he wants to kill. He wants to hunt, he wants to blow up everybody, because with that E-Blade, that not only does that spell amp for his poof, but it gives him 40 agility for all of his Meepo
Not
illusions.
much good's happening to
And it
Radiant's
just,
bottom tower.
he right-clicks hard.
Yeah, he right-clicks very hard, and you can't really underestimate the
Something
damage
better
from that
help
Geo
Dire's
Strike
middle
as well.
tower.
Yeah,
Ah.
that's, what, 40
that.
damage a second? Oh,
Yeah,
it scales up to 40, but right now it's at 30. Per Meepo,
Were those
it's
cracks in
nothing to
Dire's
laugh
top
at. It's nothing to
tower?
Right.
ignore. Oh, he's gonna go for Roche, though. I like it.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
He went for the level 15 talent tree for 15% lifesteal, so you no longer need a Vlad's. You can just kind of walk in once you get 15, and look how fast it drops. That's faster
He
than an
went for-
Ursa.
He's going straight glass cannon too, right? He's got 15 damage instead of the armor. He's got 15% lifesteal instead of the movement speed. If you catch this Meepo, he will crumble. But I think his idea is that he's just going to outmaneuver you all the way around. With this Pudge in play, though, that's kind of a taller order than I think he was expecting.
Oh, yeah. So I really like this Meepo's control of his hero right now. He's doing it exactly how he should be. He knows when his hero is strong and when it's not. And I think he'll actually be able to, if anyone can salvage the game, it will be him.
Yeah, well, that is really his job. To be fair, his teammates maybe dropped the ball a little bit on the early game, but when you have a Meepo, you kind of expect to lose the early game in a lot of cases.
Well, there's the blink up on Legion, sub 16, and they're gonna go hunt for a return kill, hopefully with the Pudge or him to set it up.
Yeah, taking a look at the way that the vision is working out, we have a very aggressive Dire Side ward, but that's pretty much all the vision that they have.
Radiant's middle
They
tower
need to
is
get some
under
up in the
attack.
jungle for this Meepo. Or they need to get some up in their opponent's jungles for the Meepo to gank. One of those two
Dire
things.
have fortified their structures.
And it looks like Meepo's gonna lock in on the mid tower, seeing the heroes show in the wave top, and he'll just take it out within a
Radiant's middle
second.
tower has fallen.
No,
Well, it was pretty low. So.
yeah. But I think Meepo's tower pushing ability is actually one of the highest in the game. On par with Lycan and Luna and Dragon Knight. Like the hero is just insanely strong if you build.
In
him.
terms of raw damage output, absolutely, but in terms of the safety of pushing, much less so, right?
Right.
Because Luna's able to do it a little bit
Dire's bottom tower has
far
shattered
back.
to
Anti-Mage is able to do it
pieces.
with a blink. So you do have a little bit of a threat to your Meepo when you are pushing with him.
So they do get bottom tower on the side of Radiant, or they push Dire's bottom tower on the side of Radiant. And
Dire's middle tower
Dire's team is
under
all
attack.
postured top, expecting the play to be somewhere else on the map entirely. So I
Legion
like.
is sitting on top of this Blink Dagger now, by the way, but
Yeah.
haven't really had the opportunity for the reveal. They might just wait out the Blade Mail if they can't find something.
They don't have a smoke up right now, so they don't really just kind of want to walk in and hope that it works. They want the surprise factor. But
This
there's
Meepo
a
got
Shadow
an
Blade on
Ethereal
Slark,
Blade.
too.
This Meepo got an Ethereal Blade, and Sensen has gotten a full Blink Dagger in the amount of time it took Legion Commander to get 600 gold for Blink Dagger.
It's just absurd how fast that hero can get money.
Yeah, he is a greedy man. So, looks like we might have a little bit of a clash here in the top lane, as it does appear to be a push as Meepo is preparing. He's got his primary Meepo ready with the blink, presumably for the reveal. He's going to snake all the way around. Meanwhile, he's using his other Meepos to farm. Legion Commander also with the blink to reveal, but if they move in and that Legion Commander duels somebody, this Meepo is going to be able to totally mitigate it with the Ethereal Blade. Here it is. Meepo paying attention. There's going to be no Ethereal Blade. He's just going to get stunned out instead. Will end up getting it. Doesn't even need the Ethereal Blade, and this is going to be a tower.
Meepo's blink just kind of, you know, it's a rock, paper, scissors thing with whoever blinks first is the one who's just going to be targeted.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
Legion goes first, and he just gets instantly blown up by the Meepo.
This is trouble. If you are RIT, this game looked so good for so long, but if they can't burst that Meepo down to open up with, which is very difficult to do because of his additional magic resistance and the fact that they don't really have any burst damage. How do you get rid of this Meepo?
It's tough to do. Legion Duel is like the only way. Maybe
Yeah,
if Weaver gets a strong item like an MKB to interrupt.
Okay, a hook is here, and that will be enough.
Aegis. He has no follow-up though. He does have Aegis, but he is deep and he doesn't have his
They
team
only
there
have
to
to
save
grab
him.
one of them. A nice stun coming out of the Knicks, and the poofs are there. What do you do against it? Oh!
The
that's
stolen
what you do.
net.
You steal the net! Throw it out there. That is going to be a save on one, but he's getting very, very low, and that will be enough to kill him. He overextends, and Rubik punishes that man.
Great Rubik play, and I think it all started with Pudge hooking the Meepo into their tier 3, so forced Meepo to do that. And that's how you deal with Meepo, I guess. You isolate him without his team there to follow him up and stun for him, and then you just kill him over and over.
That's how Rutgers lost first game, too. Like, they overextended a little bit, found themselves out of position, and then started bleeding cores. Right? This is a position where, even though the game looks really strong for RIT, if that Meepo plays carefully in his aggression, it's very difficult to see them losing him as a hero. But you got to be careful about that Pudge. He's a really good player, and that Rubik steal, woo, boy oh boy.
So now the question is, whose cores scale harder, or what's the timing as well? Because I think, you know, the Dire side, although they are ahead right now, it's not that their heroes just win by default. Legion scales technically indefinitely if you want to go that route, and Weaver does scale into a very strong late game hero.
No, I think if you go late, it's a tough call. But if you go late from this game state, it really depends on if that Meepo dies too much. If that Meepo doesn't die too much, then Dire should be in a very favorable position. If that Meepo dies a lot, the Dire pretty much just lose.
Honestly, if the Meepo doesn't die too much, I don't think this game will go late. This Meepo will probably look to close it out in the next 5-10 minutes with that next Roshan. Oh no!
An attempt to kill the Rubik, and it will be there, but there's going to be a net down on him, and X marks the spot as well. Weaver is going to be able to Shikuchi away. There's going to be the dust. He has no way to lift it, but he can Shikuchi out for safety. Meepo's looking for him, will not be able to find him, and he is going to go ahead and skate north.
Pudge
a rare miss on the hook.
Yeah, Pudge went for the hook there to save his Rubik from the net, but Slark actually blocked it by being invis in front of it, so he got his teammate killed. And a little bit unfortunate.
I'll point out that we did mention Slark blocking hooks while invis.
Yeah, you did.
Was a problem for that Pudge. It is just a perennial problem for Pudge when you have invis heroes just floating around in that sort of situation.
So while all this has been happening, like with Meepo kind of dominating the game and controlling the pace, fight mid.
All right, as the fight comes out here, Eradicate is eradicated, and then his team is going to be followed up on. Wow! You get the Meepo though, and with that caustic finale, everybody blows up. If he can survive long enough, he throws up the telekinesis into the tower, Fade Bolt there, and Slark is forced to retreat. This Slark is not very well farmed.
Yeah. I mean, he has...
He also went for a glass cannon build.
Yeah.
Well, sort of. I guess he went for the lifesteal, which I don't see how you could not go for the lifesteal in this particular situation.
I think lifesteal on that hero is actually very underwhelming. The 10% lifesteal on Slark? Yeah, because all of your damage is from magical, especially early game, and 10% is surprisingly little. Considering
but you need to sustain. Like if you're okay, we'll have to come back to this because the pounce will miss. So think about
the sustain comes from your ultimate.
Yeah, I guess it's just.
I guess we can just agree to disagree.
Yeah, I don't know. I see what you're saying. My concern is that in these fights, he's not able to get away and use the Shadow Dance unless he has it off cue, right? He if he goes for the stats, he's going to be bursted down during the duration of these fights, and he's just going to go and grab a kill. That's going to help him out. It doesn't really matter which way you go if you manage to get some farm up, though.
Right. Because in the end of the day, it's only your level 10 talent, and it's not supposed to be like a game changer. Then again, you have like Embers, whose level 10 talent is a game changer, but nonetheless.
No, I'm gonna go. You changed my mind, but with the point that you don't really need the jungle sustain because you do have the Shadow Dance. Yeah. No, I agree. Probably the 15 damage is the way to go on that.
So speaking of talents, if you look at Legion, she did go for the 15% XP talent. That's kind of hinting at that they want to go late game. They want to just survive through Meepo's peak, and they want to just scale. Do you have any numbers on that, or any ideas of if that's actually any good?
For the 15% XP versus the strength?
Yeah, how is the 15%?
So in competitive play, I don't have anything, but I can pull up something for pub play. But bear in mind, most pubs are jungle Legion commanders.
Yeah,
which
so maybe
probably you're going to want strength on jungle Legion commanders more often. Yeah, and strength is far more picked. It's picked 60% of the time.
Gotcha.
And it wins 1.5% more of the time. But once again, that's when you're talking
Pubs.
People that are trying to sustain jungle. And also, I don't know really, the strength is not going to give you a whole lot in this particular case because Meepo's still going to be able to burst you down, right? So really, the XP gain is going to help you get to the late game a little bit faster.
They're going to find Meepo here.
Oh, and his poop is now.
Oh no! The miscoordination, but they'll still get it.
Yeah.
The Blink Legion duel followed by an instant hook out of the Legion.
All right, Slark is going to come out here onto the crab here on the north side. Meanwhile, a hook away for the Rubik, but will not be anywhere near to save him. Shadow Demon able to clean that up as well. Now Slark and Nyx in biz and chasing. Now they want Pudge. A nice stun through two. Blade Mail up on the Pudge and will do quite a bit. And he gets the deny. Oh, the RNG gods are in this man's favor as now Eradicate is going in for the fight, even though there is an ultimate up on the Slark. Slark hitting himself through the Blade Mail will end up getting away. But that's a 4-man wipe, and RIT pretty happy the way that went.
Yeah, after Meepo died, they turned it around real nice, but then they just kind of chased too far and let Weaver have their way with them. We've kind of forgotten about Weaver. He's taken the hind seat of this game, but he now has a Lincoln Sphere, he has a Dragonlance, he almost has a Desolator. I assume that's going to be his next item because he has the Bladestone and 2,500 gold. This Weaver is not going to be just a non-factor anymore. He will be killing heroes left and right.
And more importantly, once he gets that Desolator, he's going to be killing towers.
Yep.
Right. Meepo doesn't really have a way to deal with that, other than apply so much pressure that the Weaver's not able to split push. And that hasn't been working out as well as I think we expected. Seeing how this Meepo got online and how expertly he was controlling his subunits, I really expected him to be going out and getting kills, but I've been a little underwhelmed since that first engagement.
Dire's bottom tower
Also, something to note is Sand King's Axe pickup, not only does it increase range, but it applies his Caustic Finale to all of the heroes that he hits. So if he gets a 5-man stun on the Meepo with some of the other heroes there, those Caustics will blow up and deal like 1,000 AoE damage, or like 500 AoE damage when Meepo dies.
We saw that in the mid lane.
Yeah, that
Meepo
was
died.
huge.
He basically killed his whole team.
Yeah, it's huge.
You can't necessarily poof all your Meepos in all of a sudden because you're putting your team at risk.
Well, Meepo's
wow,
going
and
for
more
damage.
Invis. Oh, it's in Invis Ruin. For a second there, I thought Kunkka bought a Shadow Blade as well. I was like, jeez.
It's
this
just
team.
Battle of the Invis.
Yeah.
fall into the dark.
Yeah, if I'm RIT, I'm considering picking up a gem, though. Weaver probably doesn't need to not be seen, and they do. They pick it up for the Pudge right as I'm saying that.
Yep.
So, yeah.
They
if you
don't
give up
want
the
the
gem,
Nyx.
it's not the end of the world.
They don't want
Yeah.
the Nyx or Slark having their way with them with no response. Because right now they don't have any response. They don't have like very many area targets other than the Sand King stun, which you ideally want to save for Meepo, and the hook, which you ideally don't want to blindly throw it into this target.
Yeah. Nyx Assassin is under smoke at...
Oh, and there's a full Scotty now done for Meepo. He's just going for bulk late game items. Like he has E-Blade, highest agility item in the game. Scotty, highest like bulk stats. You get 25 of each, so that's 75 stats for that item.
He's farming very fast.
He is getting very scary.
Yeah, and yeah, they haven't really gotten a lot done with him. The Rubik is going to die, but he's honestly not a very high priority grab. Meepo should be able to drill through this tower without any trouble whatsoever. The question is, will the Weaver be able to get up here? No, Weaver went for Maelstrom instead of the Desolator, so although Weaver's able to push out lanes, he's not going to be able to split push towers very effectively.
Yeah, maybe just saying we need more solutions for the Meepo. Meepo hits hard, hits fast, and there's a lot of them.
Yeah, there's the two strategies for Meepo, right? You get all of them low simultaneously, or you just focus one down, and both of those strategies have their flaws.
Yeah. Considering though they already have the Legion, which is the focus one down, I'm surprised that they didn't double down for it. Oh,
yeah.
And
they will be able to focus one down here.
That's
He
Aegis
does
and
drop.
with the Aegis respawn though, the Dire team is looking to reinitiate here, and they're gonna get one. They're gonna get a
There's
buyback.
the hook and the duel, and that is going to be a duel win with the Blade Mail. Not even near enough.
No, the Shadow Demon won the duel.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow, he did. And
But
we could be looking
Meepo's
at. Oh,
dead
Meepo
again.
may go down here and does end up going
Ultra
down
kill.
here. This Sand King is doing work against me.
This Sand
that
King,
Ags was a great pick.
That counter pick, you know, it didn't really work too much in the early game, but now that he has his Ags, it's just incredibly strong. And that turns from a Meepo dead into a bad fight, and then all of them die while chasing more. That's rough.
Right. And once again, that's a fight that looks like it was going really well for Rutgers for a while. With the Meepo respawn, people were just dying. They got a duel win. So now Shadow Demon can be a carry. It just does not work out with slight overextensions. And Meepo, once again, the phrase overwhelming is all that comes to mind. Or underwhelming, rather.
Someone better help Dire's middle
Yeah,
tower.
I mean, he had control of the game, and he's spooky, but he's not unbeatable. He's not uncontrollable. And as they showed in that last fight with these duels, with the stuns from Sand King, with the lifts to stun all of the Meepos like that, it's actually a really good solution.
Weaver
really
not
wants
quite
the
able.
tower.
He's going to go
He's
in
gonna
for
go?
it. Yeah.
Oh, with the follow-up from his team, though. It's
And Shadow Demon will not win that one. The boat is going to come in, land, and Legion. Sand King come in very, very deep. As there is X marks the spot onto the Nyx Assassin, and Pudge is going to hold him in place while the Weaver finishes him up as well. Everybody's stunned for the time being as the Slark tries to get away with his courier. But
And
Meepo
Meepo's still
back
dead,
in
no
5
buyback.
seconds. No buybacks on anybody. It's a couple supports down.
Meepo spent his money. He's going for another Eagle Song. I'm not sure if I like that idea. I don't think a second Eagle Song, even though it does give more agility than another item, if you look at it and compare it to a, let's say, Butterfly, you get a little bit less agility, but you also get the bonus, you know, evasion. I don't think that spreads to all the Meepos. Fair, you know, I'll give them that.
I do not believe it does, yeah.
But even still, I'd say...
Like, if
Go
you're
with
going
the
to
same
double
item
down
price.
on something, probably double down on the Scotty, right?
Right,
Like,
you know, bulk up
it's a
more.
similar cost, bulk up, make it... the problem that he's running into is that once he gets below half health, the caustic finale becomes too much.
Yep.
So if he gets a higher effective HP pool, then it won't be an issue. He could pick up a cheap stick that would actually give him quite a bit of bulk, quite a bit of ability to initiate, and also would give him an out for the Legion Commander, which right now they do not have. I agree with you that this seems a little too theory crafted for me. Meepo trying to grab a kill here, will throw out the net. There is going to be the Blade Mail though, and Meepo can't really do anything about it and will almost go down. Legion Commander does end up falling, but there it is.
One of the
One
Meepos got hooked
dead.
back, and then the other one is in the front. A
Yeah,
two-pronged attack
and-
on Meepo. It doesn't matter how good you are, you're going to get caught by it.
No buyback for 90 seconds. This is going to be a set of racks, looks like.
Ouch. Yeah, 3 dead, 2 without buyback. It doesn't matter if Legion's dead. They still have their pusher with Weaver. Yes, he didn't go the build for pure damage, but he still hits
When
hard.
you got 70 seconds.
Yeah, and he
doesn't
still hits
matter.
hard.
And Nyx can buy back, but he uses Vendetta to try and escape, so it's not like he can initiate. The Slark still only sitting on top of 2 items, so he doesn't really do anything at this stage. And that's not necessarily on the Slark, right? Once again, having a Meepo sucks all the experience and all the resources off the map, so Slark doesn't get very much farm priority.
Yep.
You can't expect him to do very much, and
And
I don't even know why I defend this. If you're the Shadow Demon, you let that go,
Yeah.
right? You let
You
that
cut your
go, you give up
losses.
the set of racks, exactly. Now there's going to be a second set of racks involved as well, which very well may have happened anyway, but
a
it's
missed
guaranteed
combo
to happen
from
now.
a missed torrent combo from Kunkka allows Sand King to live there, and then you know they're overcommitted right now. Once Slark runs out of his ultimate, he actually might die. Nah, he gets away.
Nyx is in a lot of trouble though. And there's the ultimate. Weaver just going to chew through him. Nom nom nom. More chewing, and there's the hook onto Slark with the duel.
That's huge. Meepo did buy back. He somehow got the money. I don't know what happened, but he got the money and he used
close, and he got it passively.
Yeah.
But now he used his buyback, so if he dies again here, the game's over.
And he teleported to the shrine. He went for the wraparound, but he doesn't find anybody. That's unfortunate.
This is devastating.
Oh, that net! That net hit Legion!
Yeah, he doesn't have any way of closing in. Okay, now he does.
Wow, that was a lucky blind net. It hits, catches the Legion in the side. Good for him.
Gotta play the odds, man.
Yeah, that's what they need to get back into it. They need anything at this point, especially when you commit buybacks on 3 heroes. You need to just...
I thought the Legion Commander's Blink Dagger was off cooldown, but I guess I was wrong.
It could have been. I didn't actually click on his hero, but he did blink there not too far earlier, so I think it was still on cooldown, maybe for like 1 or 2 seconds.
Either way, that's a nice pick, but they lost a set of racks for
and
it.
He bought back
and a buyback on Meepo.
So not only is a a kill on him, but you got less money. Is 450 gold cut in half pretty much.
Weaver's going for a straight Scotty next, so this is going to be one difficult to exterminate bug.
Right. I guess they're not struggling on damage anymore. They've been consistently killing Meepo, so I think that's an alright choice. Just stay alive, make sure you can push.
Weaver went for +7 all stats instead of plus damage, and then plus agility instead of. So he's trying to mitigate. He's trying to walk the line, right? The agility gives him a buff of armor.
I like it. I like it.
I think that is a good call, but it shows you what his priorities are, right? His priorities are not in damage. His priorities are sustaining fights. So once a Meepo uses all of his poofs, you can just focus one of them down. So you might lose one person during all those poofs, but he's not so far ahead that you can't stand and fight him, especially when you have the Legion Commander to hold one in place.
Speaking of talents, this Meepo went for his level 25 talent of plus 400 health instead of minus 3 second poof cooldown. So instead of having a half cooldown on poof, he just wants to bulk up a little bit more. Which makes me question why he went the E-Blade to begin with, but maybe that is why. The second E-Blade doesn't matter if you're going to get the bonus 400 health for free.
Yeah. I suppose that's true, but Sand King coming in once again, being a game maker, and just waiting for his opportunity to knock one of these down. Shadow Demon is going to go down. All the Meepos trying to escape, throwing out a couple nets, but there's the BKB up on Sand King, and he manages to close the gap. That is going to be a dead Meepo. Nah, oh, very close.
And Kunkka
that's a
doesn't
5-man wipe, no
well.
buybacks. This is game.
This is most likely, if they don't just tap out, they're just going to be pushed on mid, and it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah.
And
I don't think there's anything they can do.
This will give RIT a second win in the series, correct? So that's a 2-0.
Yeah, so they are going to be walking away 2-0.
Assuming they don't mount an incredible defense somehow.
With just Slark.
With just Slark, maybe Shadow Demon too if they don't lose in 15 seconds. But that'll be the call.
There's just no way you come back from that. And the early game was so dominating because of this Pudge. Right?
Yeah.
The Rubik also played very well. The Sand King walks out, perfectly counters this Meepo, not just with the hero toolkit, but how he used it. It was very, very well executed from RIT. I honestly, I think if you are Rutgers, you don't necessarily walk away from that loss feeling bad because your opponents just played super well.
I mean, Rutgers played well too for the early half of that game and for the last game. They maintained their their advantage. They played when they should play. They grouped up when they should group up. They just kind of found some bad fights, dove a little deep. As you were saying, they were a little bit undisciplined, but overall, they still didn't play poorly. They gave a good showing.
Yeah. So that is going to be it for us tonight, for at least me here and Zingle. My name is Gorgon the Wonder Cow. You can find me at the Wonder Cow on Twitter. And I am joined by Zingle. I believe you can find him at Zingle Dota. Is that right?
Yeah,
am I right about
at
that?
Zingle Dota. I don't really use Twitter much, but that's the one.
Well, if you want to flame him, do it there.
Yes.
And we're going to have Toffees and Chaz bring you guys another series here on Twitch TV for the Collegiate Star League in just a little while. Should be getting started here pretty soon.
All right, and before we close out, I'm going to give another shout out to our sponsor, Band here. There is an ad that I'm going to play. Here it is.
I'm going to give a shout out, and then I'm going to play the ad that they asked us to play. Now, Band has been doing very well by the CSL and helping a lot of these players get some big big scholarships for playing Dota. We think it's awesome. Their service is awesome as well. You should check it out.
Don't miss the call. Download Band. Communication made easy.